coming out of college and going into the WNBA, we as WNBA players were having basketball conversations, and everybody just took it to another place where we were.
As soon as Caitlyn Clark graduated from college and entered the WNBA, she impressively won the Rookie of the Year award. However, the announcement of this award was made in a very lackluster manner during a practice session amidst the playoff series. There were no events held, no flowers, no balloons, and no press conference. Just a very ordinary announcement. Many believe that the WNBA intentionally downplayed her achievement, stripping away the excitement that a talented rookie like her deserved. So, what is the reason behind this action?
Yeah, pretty much every single one of Caitlyn's games early on, because I am a fan, I do like good basketball, and of course I wanted to see how she would do.
Because Caitlyn Clark is not just good, she's exceptional. Her brilliance makes the WNBA fear being overshadowed. From the very beginning, I have followed Caitlyn Clark and recognized that she possesses a unique talent. Her abilities are undeniable, with an outstanding scoring capability, a confident attitude, and mental toughness both on and off the court. Caitlyn Clark brings a breath of fresh air that the WNBA hasn't seen in many years.
Actually, we talked about this before, like the fan that went hard at Caitlyn at the Connecticut Sun game. In game 1 or 2.
Caitlyn Clark is not just an ordinary rookie. She is rewriting the story of women's basketball, drawing attention from every corner of the sports world. But then, an unexpected event occurred. Sue Bird, one of the legends of women's basketball, accidentally revealed a shocking secret of the WNBA on her podcast. This secret could shake the entire league. The issue is not just about Caitlyn Clark's talent, but also about a much darker and more terrifying conspiracy. It turns out, WNBA leaders had quietly devised a plan to stop Caitlyn Clark.
Where there was an interaction where the fan almost got ejected. It's like, none of this is okay, and we never accept it. We never accept this.
That's right, you heard that correctly. In their efforts to maintain the collective growth image they've worked so hard to build, the league felt threatened by Clark's explosive rise. Instead of celebrating her, they sought to suppress her. Technical fouls, racially charged insinuations in the media, the blatant targeting of Clark's every move. None of this was a coincidence. It was a deliberate strategy, a calculated attempt to bring her down and prevent her from stealing the spotlight. But why would they do this? Why would the WNBA leadership...
Why is it okay in our league? Why is it, welcome to me?
Including Commissioner Cathy Engelbert. Why would they target one of the league's brightest stars? Because Caitlyn Clark is doing something the WNBA cannot control. She's bringing the league to the public, attracting fans from all corners of the country, boosting TV ratings, and increasing ticket sales. In short, Caitlyn Clark is the golden ticket that could bring the WNBA closer to the recognition it deserves, and they simply can't accept that. The issue lies not only in the cold reception of her Rookie of the Year award, but also in the way she has been treated on the court.
This wasn't a surprise. And not just the comments that the commission...
Caitlyn Clark, a player who has done more for the WNBA than any rookie, is facing unfair disciplinary decisions. Do you remember the moment she was assessed a technical foul for lightly tapping the backboard in frustration after missing a shot? The referee claimed the action was disrespectful to the game. Disrespectful? Meanwhile, WNBA legends like Diana Taurasi, who have had much more aggressive outbursts on the court, rarely face similar penalties. This isn't just poor officiating, it's a clear effort to isolate Clark and hold her back. But it wasn't just the referees. There was also the incident with a fan during a game against the Connecticut Sun, where a fan insulted Clark, and the organizers did nothing to protect her. Instead of supporting their rising star, they let the situation escalate, once again showing how Clark is being treated differently. Is it jealousy, fear, or something worse? Let's talk about the person at the head of this mess.
A few weeks ago, where she basically implied that the racial tension is good for business in invoking Magic and Bird.
Cathy Engelbert, the WNBA commissioner, has always been known as a supporter of diversity and inclusion. However, Her actions and words seem to contradict that. In an interview, she unexpectedly mentioned Caitlyn Clark and Angel Reese, two highly popular players, and suggested that they could create the next big rivalry in the league. While it may seem like an attempt to boost excitement, this framing of their relationship as a rivalry risks sensationalizing the situation rather than celebrating their individual talents and contributions to the league. It raises questions about whether the WNBA is truly fostering an inclusive environment, or if it's more focused on marketing drama at the expense of its players.
Television ratings, high attendance figures. Ladies and gentlemen, that doesn't come courtesy of a league. It comes courtesy of the players that play in the league.
In a surprising turn of events, Sue Bird, one of the most respected veterans in the WNBA, made comments on her podcast that seemed to intentionally downplay Caitlyn Clark's remarkable rookie season. Bird, who built her legendary career on teamwork, spoke about the collective effort upon which the WNBA's success depends. On the surface, these remarks might seem harmless, but upon closer inspection, they carry a troubling undertone.
In her case, she was the most popular, which means she could have helped your bottom line, which means you should have seen that from day one and max.
Bird seemed to want to reduce the focus on individual performances. Specifically, their statement about Caitlyn Clark could be seen as an effort to highlight the team spirit of the league. However, many fans and analysts argue that this was a deliberate attempt to downplay the significance of the impressive achievements Clark has made. Clark's rookie season was truly outstanding, as she not only shone on the court, but also brought excitement and attention to the league, something that had been lacking before.
It's not good for business. It's never good for business. And sort of sidestep the question about racism. And
She shattered records, lit up the scoreboard, and captured the hearts of fans everywhere. So why should such an impressive performance be downplayed in favor of a less exciting narrative about collective success? Bird's comments sent a clear message. Why celebrate an individual when you can promote the story of collective growth? While emphasizing teamwork and unity is important in any league, it becomes problematic when it overshadows the recognition of a player who has undeniably brought a surge of popularity to the WNBA.
misogyny and hate that the players are receiving online, basically saying like, don't go on social media, or, it's sort of no.
Caitlyn Clark is not just another player on the team. She is the one who has transformed the face of the league. Without her meteoric rise, the WNBA would not have garnered the attention it has today. Her explosive playing style and larger-than-life personality have attracted new fans, created a buzz on social media, and brought the spotlight to a league that had long been overshadowed by its male counterparts. Bird's comments only fueled the perception that the WNBA's leadership, including her own, is more focused on controlling the narrative than acknowledging the remarkable achievements.
They're humans, looking at technology, basketball's a little...
Instead of truly celebrating its stars, the league seems to intentionally downplay the attention given to Clark. Rather than acknowledging her contributions, the WNBA appears to want to keep Clark's spotlight from shining too brightly.
More complex than tennis, for instance, around technology of officiating. So we're looking at a variety of different dimensions.
This is not just an issue caused by Bird alone. It seems to be a larger systemic problem within the WNBA. The organization appears more focused on maintaining the status quo and downplaying the significance of Clark's rise, rather than capitalizing on the energy and excitement she brings to the sport. This became even clearer when looking at how the WNBA treated Clark at the peak of her breakout season. Instead of making her the face of the league, they seemed to overlook recognizing her success.
Technical for basically being mad at myself because I missed the three and then I went and hit the backboard, and he told me it was disrespectful to the game.
Bird's comments serve as a reminder that the league's focus is not on celebrating the players who are advancing the sport, but rather on maintaining the dominance of the old guard. This makes us take a step back and reflect on the irony of the WNBA's response to Caitlyn Clark's rise. The league has always marketed itself as a progressive organization, but the way they have handled Clark's prominence tells a different story.
College and going in the WNBA, We as WNBA players were having basketball conversations, and everybody just took it to another place where we were attacking them as
An organization that champions diversity, inclusion, and empowerment, the WNBA has built its identity as an open space for women's sports, a champion for athletes from all backgrounds. However, the way Caitlyn Clark has been treated, especially after Bird's comments, raises questions about the true extent of that inclusivity. Instead of fostering an environment that celebrates young talent like Clark, the league seems unwilling to recognize and encourage the excellence she brings.
thing I want to reset, that we want to reset. And it's the language being used around fans. Fever fans, Caitlyn fans.
The league seems more focused on controlling the narrative and protecting its current structure. It is hard to understand why the WNBA, which desperately needs new talent and excitement to grow, would attempt to suppress a player who is taking the league to new heights. Caitlyn Clark is not just a breath of fresh air. She is a powerful force that could propel the WNBA into a new era with greater attention and popularity. Yet, despite all her accomplishments, Clark has faced resistance at every turn. The league has not fully embraced her rise, even though it is clear that her success is exactly what the WNBA needs. It's almost as if they're trying to hold her back.
New fans. That actually has to go. That has to go. I understand why at times it's been used. It's kind of just when you're in an interview and you get asked a question.
It's as if her meteoric rise is seen as a threat to the established order. This not only stifles her potential, but also prevents the league from truly capitalizing on the wave of excitement she has created.
And it's kind of easy to go, oh, the FIFA fan base.
Yeah,
what
what do you mean by that? That has to go.
Oh, these new fans. It has to go because it's not the FIFA fans. It's not.
The situation worsened when Caitlyn Clark and her peer, Angel Reese, became targets of racist and sexist attacks, both online and during games. Instead of directly addressing these issues, the WNBA, under Cathy Engelbert's leadership, chose to exploit the rivalry between the two players as a marketing tool. By framing their interactions as the next big rivalry in women's sports, the league only amplified existing tensions, further dividing fans and fueling hostility between the two brightest stars in the game.
There's no more apathy. Everybody cares. It is a little that Bird magic moment, if you recall, from 1979 when those two rookies came in from a big college.
Instead of creating a supportive and inclusive environment, the WNBA seemed more focused on amplifying controversies just to attract attention. In doing so, they forgot the most fundamental rule in sports. It's about the players.
On black. And so we have that moment with these two. But the one thing I know about sports, you need rivalry. That's what makes people watch. They want to watch games of consequence between rivals. They don't.
Without the players, there would be no league, no audience, and no future. By allowing the narrative to be dominated by marketing gimmicks, instead of focusing on the players, the heart and soul of the league, the WNBA has alienated its fan base and weakened the very essence it should represent. The road ahead for Caitlyn Clark and the WNBA now faces significant challenges unless the league changes its approach and truly values stars like her.
Balance, but certainly from a marketing dollars, but corporate partners are stepping up to endorse these players much more so than they were 5.
As Caitlyn Clark continues to break records and captivate audiences with her dynamic playing style, the WNBA faces a pivotal moment. The league has not fully embraced her rise or capitalized on the excitement she brings. Instead of making Clark the face of the league, WNBA leadership has struggled to recognize her importance. Caitlyn Clark is the future of women's basketball, and if the WNBA does not change its approach, they may miss a golden opportunity to grow the league.
The WNBA in the league office and Cathy's role specifically is basically to protect and shepherd.
However, the league seems hesitant to acknowledge that the big question now is whether the WNBA will embrace the future and allow Caitlyn Clark to continue to shine, or if they will let jealousy and fear cloud their judgment, dragging the league back into the shadows. Caitlyn Clark is the future of women's basketball, whether the league likes it or not. If the WNBA continues to suppress its brightest stars in favor of a collective growth narrative, they will miss the opportunity to grow the league. and make it a true symbol of women's sports.
From a business perspective, from a player welfare perspective, from a health and safety perspective, and from a growth and investment perspective.
The league is at risk of losing the momentum that players like Caitlyn Clark bring. WNBA leadership must face the reality that the future of the league lies in the hands of the players, those with the talent, charisma, and drive to elevate the sport to new heights. If the league fails to honor and promote its stars, it will harm itself, slowing its growth and alienating the next generation of fans who are looking for the next big thing in sports. The WNBA needs to recognize that supporting and acknowledging young talent is the key to building a strong future for the league.
Continuing to impress and she's going to break records nonstop for the next couple of years. Yeah. It's just going to be a constant.
Caitlyn Clark has proven that she is more than capable of carrying the weight of the WNBA. The real question now is whether the league will allow her to do so, or if they will continue to resist her rise. Regardless of what happens, one thing is clear. Caitlyn Clark is a force to be reckoned with, and the WNBA would be wise to acknowledge that. She is not just a star, she is the future of women's basketball. The league needs to maximize her potential to grow and attract new fans. Stay tuned to this video for the latest updates, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any news.